Every single human being who has ever lived has asked the same question. What happens when I die? Is there something after this? Is there a paradise waiting? Is there a punishment? Islam and Christianity both answer this question. Both promise heaven. Both warn of hell. Both describe a day of judgment where every soul will be held accountable. But the details, what paradise actually looks like, what hell actually feels like, and whether punishment lasts forever, are dramatically different. This is the afterlife, according to two faiths that represent over half the world. Before we get to heaven and hell, both religions describe something that happens in between, the period right after death. In Christianity, beliefs vary by denomination. Many Christians believe that the moment you die, your soul goes immediately to be with God if you are saved, or is separated from God if you are not. Jesus told the thief on the cross, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Catholics also believe in purgatory, a temporary state of purification for those who are saved, but not yet fully cleansed of sin. In Islam, the concept is different. After death, the soul enters a state called Barzakh, a barrier between this world and the next. It's a waiting period. The soul remains in the grave until the day of judgment. During Barzakh, two angels, Munkar and Nakir, visit the deceased and ask three questions. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? How you answer determines whether your time in the grave is peaceful or tormenting. So in Christianity, many believe judgment happens immediately. In Islam, there is a waiting period, and the real judgment comes later. Both religions describe a final day of judgment, and both describe it as the most terrifying event in the history of existence. In Christianity, the Book of Revelation describes the end of the world in vivid detail. The dead are raised. The books are opened. Every person stands before God and is judged according to their deeds. Those whose names are written in the Book of Life enter eternal paradise. Those whose names are not are cast into the lake of fire. In Islam, the Day of Judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah, is one of the 6 core beliefs every Muslim must hold. The Quran describes the earth shaking, the mountains turning to dust, the sky being torn apart. Every soul is resurrected and brought before God. Your deeds are weighed on a literal scale, the mizan. If your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, you cross the sirat, a bridge over hellfire, thinner than a hair and sharper than a sword, and enter paradise. If they do not, you fall. Both religions agree there is no escaping this day. Every human who has ever lived will stand before God and give an account. In Christianity, heaven is described less as a physical place and more as a state of being, eternal communion with God. The Book of Revelation says God will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, no mourning, no crying, no pain. The old order of things has passed away. Heaven is the presence of God Himself. It is being fully known, fully loved, and fully at peace forever. The Apostle Paul wrote that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love Him. Christians believe that heaven is not earned by good deeds. It is a gift of grace received through faith in Jesus Christ. You don't work your way in, you are saved into it. The descriptions are intentionally mysterious, because the Christian view is that heaven exceeds anything human language can describe. In Islam, paradise, Jannah, is described in extraordinary physical detail. The Quran says, in paradise, there are rivers of water that never goes stale, rivers of milk whose taste never changes, rivers of wine, delicious to those who drink, and rivers of purified honey. There are gardens beneath which rivers flow, Believers recline on thrones adorned with silk, eating every kind of fruit in the shade of trees that never lose their leaves. They wear garments of fine green silk and gold bracelets. They are served from cups of crystal. The Quran describes not one heaven, but multiple levels. Some scholars say 7, others say more. The highest level is called Firdaus, the closest to the throne of God. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said, "When you ask God for paradise, ask for Firdaus, for it is the highest and best of paradise." And here is a fascinating difference. In Islam, God does not reside in paradise. Jannah is a creation of God, a reward for believers. But the greatest reward, greater than all the rivers and gardens and silk, is described as seeing the face of God. That, in Islamic theology, is the ultimate pleasure of paradise. In Islam, paradise is earned through a combination of faith and deeds. You believe in God, you follow His commands, you do good in the world, and God, in His mercy, grants you entry. In Christianity, hell is described as eternal separation from God. Jesus himself spoke of hell more than almost any other figure in the New Testament. He described it as a place where the fire never goes out and the worm never dies. The book of Revelation calls it the lake of fire, the second death. But not all Christians agree on what hell actually is. Some believe it is a literal place of fire and torment. Others believe it is a metaphor for the anguish of being permanently separated from God's love. And a growing number of Christians hold to a view called annihilationism, that the unsaved are not tormented forever but simply cease to exist. What nearly all Christians agree on is that hell is permanent. Once you are there, there is no exit. In Islam, hell, Jahannam, is described in visceral, terrifying detail. The Quran describes a fire whose fuel is men and stones. It describes boiling water poured over the heads of the condemned, garments of fire cut out for them, skin that is burned away and then replaced with new skin, so the punishment can be felt again. The Quran describes 7 levels of hell, each more severe than the last, reserved for different categories of sinners. But here is the difference that surprises most people. In Islam, hell is not necessarily permanent for everyone. Muslim sinners, those who believed in God but committed sins, may enter Jahannam temporarily. They endure punishment for a period, then through God's mercy, they are eventually released and allowed to enter paradise. The only people who remain in Jahannam forever are those who committed shirk, associating partners with God, and died without repenting. So in Christianity, hell is widely understood as eternal for everyone who enters it. In Islam, hell has an exit, but only for believers. That is a massive theological difference. So 2 religions, 2 visions of what comes next. In Christianity, heaven is the presence of God, mysterious, infinite, beyond description, and hell is eternal separation from that presence. In Islam, Jannah is a garden of unimaginable beauty, rivers, silk, fruit, and the face of God as the ultimate reward. And Jahannam is terrifying. But for believers, it is not the end of the story. Both faiths agree on this. What you do in this life matters. How you live, what you believe, and how you treat others will determine what happens when your time here is over. And maybe that is the most important thing both religions are trying to say. This life is not all there is, and how you spend it is the only question that truly matters. If this made you think, subscribe. Every week we break down Islam and Christianity, side by side, respectfully, cinematically. Next video, we're covering salvation. How do you actually get saved? In Christianity, it's faith. In Islam, it's faith plus deeds. The difference changes everything. What surprised you most about how these 2 religions describe the afterlife? Drop it in the comments. Respectful discussion only. See you in the next one.